Welcome to tonight's episode of Grindhouse. The theme for tonight's episode is controversial horror films. So, there's no list. I feel like I want to make this because next week is part one of the two-parter season finale. Then I'm going to take a break for March, for February and March, and then I'm going to start season 2 in April. So, what got me thinking this should be the theme? Well, Split, M. Night Shyamalan's new film, is like one of the most controversial films of the beginning of this year. So, why it's controversial? People think it's making fun of people who are transgender, people with PTSD, and people with multiple personality disorder. So, a lot of these people who say this claim they had these diseases, and that it's just like, why would you, like, they claim it, they don't, it's not real, they fake it. And because, according to Rob Dyke, who is an amazing YouTuber, he's funny and awesome, according to him, the new drug of the new decade is pity. The pity drug. Everyone wants pity. Most people want pity for something. I shouldn't say everyone. And they'll go so far as to make up something like this so that people can feel sorry for them. And why would you want this? So, at the time, people are making up like they have these disorders and they know what it feels like. At the same time, someone who actually does have this disorder is probably thinking, why the hell would you want this? Why would you want to go through the suffering we go through so that you can judge a movie based on knowledge you don't even have? It's one of the dumbest things, but it's happening. And these people are making this movie controversial because they want pity. So Split doesn't make fun of people with PTSD or multiple personality disorder because it doesn't have a good, I guess you could say, it doesn't have a good adaptation of someone like with multiple personality disorder or PTSD, or it doesn't have it so realistic that it can actually be considered them making fun of them. No, it's not. It's not at all, and I think it was a good movie. A lot of people did. A lot of people say that this is M. Night Shyamalan's coming back to his originality with movies, and I liked it a lot. It did not make fun of people with PTSD or multiple personality disorder or anyone who's transgender, because I don't think it occurred to them that one of the personalities was supposed to be a female. So, of course, they're going to wear feminine clothing. So, it's not making fun of them, okay? Alright, so I want to get that out of the way. Now we're going to talk about controversial films. Now, something I think we're probably going to talk about a lot in this series is, or at least begin every episode with in this series, is the question why. Why make a movie controversial? Well, a lot of people see horror films and movies that get shocked, but they end up not getting satisfied because they weren't shocked, they weren't they weren't cringing, they weren't gagging or something like that. So that's why people decide, then let's make this type of movie. And no one knew what type of movie it was going to be called. So there are many of them that are out there right now, like a Serbian film, Salo, or the 100 Days of Sodom, and Cannibal Holocaust, and so many others. And these movies use things like touchy subjects, or I don't know, like laudanum, which is something I don't like. I don't condemn you do this. Is they use animal cruelty, and they also again, they make touchy subjects. That's mostly the main things. animal cruelty, touchy subjects, or sexual violence. So, another thing that makes these movies so controversial is that we have not seen anything like it before. It is so shocking. They are so shocking. We've never seen anything that's shocking before in our lives. And that's why a lot of people, it gets people talking. There are things that get people talking and saying like, oh, I think this was controversial because it had like this scene in it, or it had this like gallons of violence in it, or something like that. And that's usually what makes a movie controversial. And again, then once the very first controversial movie came out, people were like, "Oh, I want to see some more films that can be considered controversial," and they test themselves to see if they have the stomach to do it. And a lot of times they do, a lot of times they don't. But they can always agree it's probably a good film. Usually controversial movies are movies that are like banned. They're banned in this country and this country and all this country. Or that usually when you think of it, you think of something that like people, like if you mention it, people say that movie was so gross and disgusting. Like I just mentioned in my Purge video, this is literally, The Purge is also, I guess you could say, a shock movie too. So we're not just talking about controversial movies. Okay, we kind of are, but there is now a genre for it. At least I think it's a genre. That is shock films. So, films that have shocked people, like so many people, they're now considered shock films. And those are the films that usually become controversial. Like, let's take whatever the very first radar animated movie. That probably shocked the world because no one's probably seen either blood, violence, language, or even nudity in animated form. So that's probably why it shocked so many people, because animation was I guess at the time, whenever the first one came out, probably people thought animation was for children and couldn't be used in this way. Then they were wrong. But then it became a thing. I already made a Grindhouse episode about radar cartoons, so I think you should go check that out. But shocking people is one of the things that can get someone scared. Like, especially if you make it so realistic, you think it's real. That was the case with Cannibal Holocaust. Yeah, they used animal cruelty. No one liked that, but it is a little genius. I know, it makes me cringe to say that, but it is genius because they thought, a lot of the audience thought, if they killed animals on screen, the cast members must be dead as well, which also got the director arrested, and then the cast members had to come out revealing. Literally, the guy actually had them be like, I don't want you to make any public appearances or anything, okay? Don't make anything. Pretend like you're gone. Pretend like you're dead. You're vanished. So, yeah, but that's a move. That's a move that has balls. That's literally, today that can be considered a move a director made that's like very risky. No one's done that ever since. Like, no one's done that or anything. No one's done that, which I think actually, even though probably would get you arrested, I think it actually is smart to like the people, like, kind of play with the people's heads. That's how good of like a mastermind, of creator you are. You create something so realistic, you kind of play with the audience's heads. But again, the movie was banned in like 32 countries, so yeah, made it the most controversial movie. If you even look up controversial movies, like lists, it's sure to be at least number 2. Then we got a Serbian film. Yeah, that movie's just controversial. I'm not going to explain why, but it is. Then of course we got Solo, or the 120 Days of Sodom. So, and then there's many others. Trust me, there are other controversial movies out there throughout horror history and just history of film. And a lot of times, like I said, people want to see something controversial. Like if it says like this is banned, the church says this was the movie that was banned in like 20 countries or something like that. That's gonna appease the audience because they're gonna be like, oh, I want to see that, because if it was banned in these countries but it wasn't banned here, there must be a reason for that, and the curiosity will get the best of them, and they'll be like, I want to see that. So that's how the movie studios, the directors, and all the creators make the money, because that's what makes them controversial. Because again, usually anything that's kind of banned in some countries is usually considered to be controversial. Sometimes banning SpongeBob in China does not make it controversial. So yeah, I noticed that these, like, lately I've been making my Grindhouse videos like 10 minutes long. Like the first one was like 25 minutes. Now they're like either 10 or 5 minutes long. But trust me, next week and the following week are be long. Okay? They're gonna be long. They'll probably take all day. Maybe. So, yeah. And with that being said, I will see you guys next Friday with a new episode. Stay in the shadows and please subscribe. Yeah. Goodbye.